This is the L2C Media Network, and this is Sports Final, the home of the big sporty balls. Thank you, Mandy. That sticks with us now. I'm Harry von Stuttgart. We're live from the Fred McLeod Sports Desk at the Tom O'Neill Studios here in Jackson, and we are presented by the L2C Media Network. And now, with the details that make the headlines in the sports world go round and round and out the other end, here's our buddy, Backman. All right, thank you, Harry. Good evening, everybody. It is 11:37 in the p.m. Welcome, one and all to Sports Finals. Steve the Backsman Baxley, as Harry said. Glad to have you with us. Still the same here, but don't worry, I'm going to be shortening it. Anyway, we got a lot to do. Gotta say a quick happy birthday to 6 News WLNS morning reporter Kiara Lake. And you know what we do when somebody has a birthday. That's right. We grab La Kazoo and we go like this. Oh, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Kiara Lake, who's here for everyone on 6 News WLNS. Oh, happy birthday. I said a happy birthday to you. All right, we get to do it at the end of the show, too. Also, less sad note, and we usually do not do this. Yeah, we do this, but for us, it is sad. The silent monkey, the more quiet, humble monkey, Mike Nesmith, passed away today at, I do believe, the age of 71. He just recently canceled the remainder of the Monkeys' final tour, which means that Mickey Dolenz is the lone survivor. You realize that let's see, we lost Robert Clary is the last of Hogan's heroes. Tina Louise is the last of the castaways on Gilligan's Island. And Mickey Dolenz is the last of the monkeys. Let's see. I don't know. I'm not going to be ghoulish or anything, but I am going to check a few of the cast of some of our favorite comedies. Just see who's, still with us. That's a proper word to use. But man, oh man, we are losing our childhood. And by the way, this Sunday, I do believe, I haven't gotten the time yet. Maybe we will. Just give us a little moment. We will find out here in a few moments. I think, if I'm not mistaken or incorrect, that our good friends over at MeTV are planning. Oh, he was 78. I said 71. He was 78. And I do believe that, it is. Okay, here it is. MeTV will remember Mike Nesmith Sunday, December 12th at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, with a special tribute with 4 select episodes of The Monkees this Sunday, December 12th, 2 p.m. on the East, 1 p.m. Central on MeTV, of course, here in the Jackson, Lansing area. MeTV is 47.2. in our lovely little and I I love what MeTV put down. We're going to just read a brief moment uh, from the MeTV write up here. Originally, only 3 monkeys were given a real name. There was Davy, Mickey, Peter, and Woolhat. That's what producers of the Monkees first dubbed Mike Nesmith, and actually did use the nickname on air, intending to call the character that throughout the series' run. You can even see it listed in the earliest monkey promo material, like in an old TV guide listing from '66. The green wool hat Nesmith wore had an interesting origin story. Despite being in sunny California, Nesmith had donned the wool cap to keep the hair out of his face while riding his motorcycle to his Monkees audition. He had no idea it would become such an integral part of his persona from that point on. Uh, in the end, the reason we don't call Mike Nesmith Wool Hat is pretty straightforward. Nesmith didn't like being called Wool Hat, so the producers dropped it, letting him be known by his real name, Mike. Now, what became of the Wool Hat? Nesmith hatched a pretty clever scheme to be rid of it for good. At a concert, the story goes that he tossed it out to a fan in the crowd. Nesmith was a supremely talented songwriter and musician. After he was cast on the sitcom, Screen Gems bought several songs of his for the new band. One of those tunes was Mary Mary, sampled by Run DMC decades later. His music career predated the Monkees. His songs were covered by the likes of Linda Ronstadt, Frankie Lane, and the Paul Butterfield Blues Band under the name Michael Blessing. He released a single on Colpix Records. Yes, friends, that's Columbia Pictures. A label that, well, happened to include Davy Jones on its roster, but Jones and Nesmith did not meet until being cast as the Monkees. Of course, the rest of his career is well known. His mother uh, invented the typing correction fluid known as liquid paper. She built the Liquid Paper Corporation into a multi-million-dollar corporation and later sold it to Gillette. Which reminds me, anyone using foamy, you might want to make sure it's not actually liquid paper. I say that as a joke. He didn't take part in the Monkees' 20th anniversary reunion, though he did rejoin his old pals as Santa Claus for a Monkees Christmas Melody seen on MTV later that year. His detente would thaw, and in 1995, all 4 original Monkees recorded their first album together since 1968's Head. In recent years, following the death of Peter Tork, Nesmith joined Mickey Dolenz for Monkees Present the Mike and Mickey Show, their first tour as a duo. He died of natural causes, according to the Hollywood Reporter. He was 78 years old, and he is credited, believe it or not, for the way video is done today. In some aspects, he won a Grammy for a little video show he did called Elephant Parts, which NBC signed for, and it became Television Parts, where he would introduce little clips, stand-up clips of very unknown comics like Arsenio Hall, Jay Leno, and a few others. He also did a thing called Pop Clips. He did a video for a song called Rio, and did a lot of things. He did a thing called Pop Clips, which predated even MTV. It was for the Nickelodeon cable channel, and like we said, it predated MTV's arrival. So I guess you could say, in a way, Mike Nesmith helped launch MTV. He also produced some music videos featuring the likes of talented individuals like Lionel Richie and even Michael Jackson, among those. I will tell you this, he is smart and creative as a whip, and he leaves us with a lot of good memories. Mike Nesmith, rest in paradise, the age of 78. You get to, and standing over along with St. Peter to greet you. Don Kirshner, Peter Tork, Mickey Dolans, and a very good friend of yours, some guy named Frank Zappa. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have done the monologue and the tribute. Leave us now. Go to the one thing that will make us all a little better. That's right, folks. It's time for a little sports. So, Mike Nesmith, as I say, the show must go on, and so do we. Hello to the lovely Sherry in our chat room. Hope everything is well. Happy Friday, happy weekend, happy Saturday. And we begin our broadcast with the NBA scores. You know, I wish we were, I wish we could. I wish we had ad dollars and everything to, get the rights and be allowed to play some of the of Mike Nesmith's big hits, along with some of the Monkees music. It would make us all feel good and feel a little warmth in the old brain cells and heart. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm hoping to do so. I am well, thank you. I'm glad you are, Sherry. I hope your evening was fun, thrilled, and exceptionally fun. Okay, let us get to it. Only one game of the NBA still going on at 2:43 remaining in the third quarter. It's the Phoenix Suns. Here comes the Suns. Do 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 do. Phoenix Suns lead the Boston Celtics 75-61. The Indiana Pacers, now we go to some final scores. Indiana Pacers over the marvelous Dallas Mavericks 106-93. The Charlotte Hornets, oh, I almost blooped that one. Charlotte Hornets by one over the Sacramento Kings 124-123. Brooklyn Nets beat the Atlanta Hawks 113-105. The Toronto Raptors beat the New York Knicks 90-87. Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 123-106. The New Orleans Pelicans defeated the Detroit Pistons 109-93. Los Angeles Lakers found that winning mojo. They defeated the Oklahoma City Thunder 116-95. And the defending world basketball champion Milwaukee Bucks defeated the Houston Rockets 123-114. And in our basketball news that we will have for you, well, apparently the father is back to doing what he thinks is right for his sons. That's right, LeVar Ball has stuck his nose in it again. We'll explain why he is not exactly on good terms with Michael Jordan. All that and a whole lot more. But as they say in the business, we got more sport to do. That's right, we got more sports to do. Let's head on over to college basketball. I'm getting my hair sheared, even if I have to do it myself. That would be fun. Okay, let's go to the ladies. It is ladies' night, and the feel is right. Oh, yes, it's ladies' night. Oh, what a night. And by the way, our scoreboard is always presented by Caesar Sportsbook, who reminds all of you that we are all Caesars. Number 2 ranked North Carolina State defeated Pittsburgh 89-54. In overtime, Oklahoma, or as we like to do, Oklahoma, defeated 16th ranked BYU 99-91. It was all done in overtime. All right, there you go. Number 23, Oregon State over Monmouth 72-58. Those are thy scoreth. Yes, those are thy scores. Okay, let's hit the shader dooders for the scores of the men. That's right, kids. We do ladies, we do men too. That's right. Our sporty balls know no gender. And let's see here. Saturday, let's tap out Friday here. Thank you, boys. Thank you. He's nice, isn't it? Yes, it is nice. Okay, wow. This is the lopsided score of the week. Montana over Yellowstone Christian College, 104-43. Furman over Appalachian State, 73-65. Tennessee State over IUPUI. Or if you're a fan of the originals, known as the Village People, IUPUI. IUP. P. This P. Where's our P? This is a P. Oh, P. No. You know what I mean. IUPUI. That's right. Tennessee State over IUP, 70-44. Delaware over Moravian, 94-55. Vermont over Brown, 70-65. If that's not enough, here we go. Army over Najit, NJIT, 66-49. South Carolina State over High Point, which I know their cousin Low Point, 67-66. Bellarmine over Midway, 89-39. Kansas City over Green Bay, 64-55. Murray State over Memphis, 74-72. Loyola of Chicago over Vanderbilt, 69. Thank you. 258. DePaul over Louisville, 62-55. North Dakota State over CSU Northridge, 68-54. Boise State over Prairie View A&M, 97-60. And Colorado over Milwaukee, 65-54. Thus is your college basketball scores for the men and for the women, or for the women and for the men. There you go. So that leaves us with one more league to go here in our little nest of sport. And by the way, Christmas week, we're changing the name from Sports Final to Steve's Sporty Balls. That's going to be fun. Okay, let's get on with it. Let's see, we're looking for the 10th. So let's spelunk and spurlunk. And here we go. The Greensboro Swarm defeated the Mexico City Capitans 101-96. The Fort Wayne Mad Ants defeated the Iowa Wolves 105-103. So for any of you folks who love Wolves, you must be pretty upset. And finally, the South Bay, with 2:23 left in the fourth quarter, the South Bay Lakers are leading the Stockton Kings 100-93. Yay, there is that. Okay, we have done the basketball. Let's go and fuzzle around. We go from the hard court to the hard synthetic fake ice. Time now for the NHL and our hockey scoreboard. And we got two games, We got two games that continue. Both, believe it or not, are in the second intermission. For example, the Philadelphia Flyers and the Vegas Golden Knights, or Golden Knights of Vegas, either one will do. They're tied at 2. And in the second intermission, you gotta be kidding me. But I'm reading this. The Winnipeg Jets and the Vancouver Canucks are tied at 3. And here we go, kids. The final scores with the Molson 3 stars. Now, y'all wonder probably why we say the Molson 3 stars. Well, I'm a Hockey Night in Canada fan. And every night when the CBC used to produce Hockey Night in Canada, they would end their show with the Molson 3-star selection, sponsored, of course, by Molson Beer. So, so we continue the tradition, even though Molson, in some ways, don't sponsor the 3 stars on CBC. Another group does, or they just call it the 3 stars. But I make sure that we keep the tradition alive. So Let's go to some final scores featuring the Molson 3 stars. New York Rangers over the Buffalo Sabres by a score of 2-1. Zabinajad for the Rangers, 1 goal. Georgiev for the Rangers, 36 saves. And Lukanen for Buffalo, 29 saves. Continuing. Pittsburgh Penguins over the Washington Capitals by a score of 4-2. Kapanen for Pittsburgh, 1 goal. Eller for Washington, 1 goal. And Jerry, where's Tom? See, Tom and Jerry. Anyway, 29 saves. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did that. But I am silly, and we love to be silly on this show. It helps us stay sane. And the Nashville Predators took out the New Jersey Devils 3-2. Josie without the Pussycats for Nashville, 1 goal, 1 assist. Trennan for Nashville, 1 goal, and Tolvanen for Nashville, 1 goal as well. Hey! And we have more? Oh, yes, we do. And, well, these two obviously late arrivals because they did not have the 3 stars. Colorado Avalanche beat the Detroit Red Wings 7-3, and the Florida Panthers beat the Arizona Coyotes, or as we're going to call them, the Arizona Gypsy Coyotes, because after this season they will be a team without a home. So the final score, by the way, Panthers 3, Coyotes 1. And we will also, by the way, or do you want to do that? You want to do that now? Okay. I'll be in the hotel lobby 7:45. Let's do it now while we have the National Hockey League up, and then we will go to the collegiate side for hockey scores, and then to the 2 minor leagues for their wonderment of wonders. Let's go to the schedule. As you know, when it's Friday, which it is today, we check to see what's coming up Saturday and Sunday in the National Hockey League for you folks out there that love hockey and would like to watch it. Well, we're going to give you that Chandeliero right now as we go coast to coast. And let's take it now to, yes, friends, Saturday, and we begin at 1 o'clock. Tampa Bay takes on, Tampa Bay will be at Ottawa in a game to be aired on Canada's TSN 5, the French Canadian network RDS, and in America on Bally Sports Sun. 7 p.m. games, Montreal at St. Louis, that's seen on City, Sportsnet East, in French Canadian on TVA, and in St. Louis in the Midwest area, it'll be on Bally Sports Midwest. Washington is at Buffalo at 7 o'clock. That game will be on MSG Buffalo and NBC Sports Washington Plus. And here we go, another 7 p.m.er, but this is one of 2 of the big old CBC double dips for Hockey Night in Canada. The Chicago Blackhawks travel to Toronto, take on the Maple Leafs, 7 p.m. Eastern. That game will be on the NHL Network as well as CBC, Sportsnet Ontario, Sportsnet West, Sportsnet Pacific, and in the Chicago area on NBC Sports Chicago. Pat Foley among the play-by-play voices on NBC Sports Chi-Town. The Mighty Ducks of Anaheim take on the Mighty Penguins of Pittsburgh. That'll be on ATT Sportsnet Pittsburgh, Bally Sports Southern California, and Bally Sports San Diego. New Jersey plays at the New York Islanders at 7:30, MSG Plus and MSG period. Philadelphia takes on Arizona at 9 p.m. Eastern, Bally Sports Arizona and NBC Sports Philadelphia. Columbus Blue Jackets take on the Seattle Kraken at 10 on Route Northwest and Bally Sports Ohio. Boston takes on Calgary, 10 p.m. Eastern, City TV, Sportsnet East, Sportsnet West, Sportsnet Pacific, and For the Boston folks, it'll be on the New England Sports Network, or as they're lovingly called with affection, Nesson. And the second half of the CBC Hockey Night in Canada Double Dip is Carolina at Edmonton, 10 p.m. on CBC, Sportsnet 1, Sportsnet Ontario. And down in the Carolinas, it's on Bally Sports South. Minnesota takes on Los Angeles at 10:30, Bally Sports West, Bally Sports North, and Bally Sports Wisconsin. And finally, Dallas will be in San Jose at 10:30, NBC Sports California, and Bally Sports Southwest. Now, the Sunday games, and there are going to be a few of those. Anaheim at St. Louis at 7 p.m., Bally Sports Midwest, Bally Sports SoCal, and Bally Sports San Diego. Nashville at the New York Rangers, 7 o'clock. For French-Canadian viewers, TVA Sports, MSG for New York and surrounding areas, and Bally Sports South. Florida at Colorado is at 8 p.m. That's on Sportsnet East, Sportsnet Ontario, Sportsnet West, Altitude, and more in Bally Sports, Florida. I almost named a new network. Rally. It's Bally Sports, Florida. Minnesota plays at Las Vegas, 9 p.m. AT&T Sportsnet Rocky Mountain, Bally Sports North, and Bally Sports Wisconsin. And Carolina is at Vancouver, that game 10 p.m. Sportsnet Pacific and Bally Sports South. And that is your weekend tally of the National Hockey League games. We will check out the standings coming up a little bit later. But right now, let's do what we normally do when we talk that there hockey. We do our double dip and say howdy to the scoreboard. First, men's hockey and Atlantic Hockey Division. Niagara over Canisius, 3-2 in overtime. In the Big Ten, it was number 8 Notre Dame over Michigan State, 3-2. Number 3 Michigan over number 17 Ohio State, 5-2. And Wisconsin over Penn State, 4-1. In the CCHA, number 1 ranked Minnesota State over Bemidji State, 5-1. Ferris State over Bowling Green, 6-3. Lake Superior over 19th ranked Northern Michigan, 7-2. I have a feeling they're going to be doing a dropout. And Michigan Tech over St. Thomas, 6-1. In the ECAC, Yale over Brown. Yale over Brown. If it was Ale over Brown, you know Ale would win. Well, just goes to show you, Yale won. They beat Brown 4-3. In Hockey East, Boston College and Boston University tied at 3. 15th ranked UMass Lowell beat Vermont 3-0. In the NCHC, 4th ranked Western Michigan over 14th ranked Omaha 4-2. 7th ranked North Dakota over Colorado College 5-2, and 11th ranked Denver over 5th ranked Minnesota Duluth 5-0. In non-conference action, it was Rensselaer over Rensselaer leads Alaska 2-0 just in the second period. Number 2 ranked Quinnipiac over LIU 4-1. 18th ranked Clarkston over Arizona State. Arizona State over 18th ranked Clarkston 4-3. Union and Maine were ended in a 1-1 tie, and 16th ranked Providence over Princeton 7-0. Oh dear. All right, let's. We should have done this earlier, but we're doing this late, so let's give some love. Tonight, of course, on Nick Ricciata's show, Lost Bleeding Interwebs, featuring the humble Minnesota lawyer, Nick Riccita. Tonight, he'll be dissecting Binger's interview about Kyle Rittenhouse. That and a whole lot more. Nick Riccita and friends will be doing the big old Talk and Gabberfest. That's on Lost Bleeding Interwebs. Midnight Eastern, 11 Central, and the rest of you figure out your own time zones. You all probably graduated math, and get ready for some fun and some outrageous opinion. That's Lost Bleeding Interweb on the Ricciata Law Channel here on the U of Tube. And after we say that, ladies and gentlemen, we go like this. Why? Because they'll make us go like this. Let's take you now to the AHL. See? We transition. Like we actually know what we're doing, and sometimes we do. Personally, for me, I like chaos, especially comedy chaos. Let's get you some scores from the games tonight in the American Hockey League. This, for example, 13:18 left to play in the final period, or regulation time, if you will. The Ontario Reign lead the San Diego Gulls 3-2. Final scores in a shootout. The Tucson Roadrunners beat the Stockton Heat 5-4. The Syracuse Crunch defeated the Charlotte Checkers 5-3. Utica Comets over the Cleveland Monsters 3-1. We had the Belleville Senators over the Providence Bruins 4-1. Rochester Americans over the Laval Rocket 5-3. Toronto Marlies over the Springfield Thunderbirds 4-2. Manitoba Moose dissected the Grand Rapids Griffins 4-2. Milwaukee Emeralds over the Iowa Wild in overtime 4-3. Henderson Silver Knights over the Rockford Ice Hogs 5-0. And the Colorado Eagles over Bakersfield Condors 7-2. And that whams it right there, kids. Let's now go to Ontario, and then we will end our little hockey segment. So let's go to the scores, and we see 7 games. We better look. There we go. 8 games for Friday night. And here we go. Owen Sound. They were real sound. They beat Flint 8-4. Hamilton over Kensington. Or Kensington over Hamilton 6-5. Mississauga over Niagara 9-1. Oshawa over Ottawa 5-1. Sudbury over the Sioux. Actually, no. Quoting. Oh, I didn't see that. Thank you. Now I saw. The Sioux and Sudbury game was postponed. So we go to Guelph and Saginaw. Guelph beat Saginaw 5-3. Kitchener defeated Sarnia 9-1. Windsor defeated London 4-1. And boys and girls, cats, kittens, frogs, hogs, and assorted animals, that is it for ye old scoreboard of hockey. That's right. We had basketball, we had hockey. Now, what is there left? You may ask yourself, and I'm glad I asked. Simple. It's time for headlines. Dun, dun, dun. All right, let's bop the headlines here, and let's start off first with the NFL. And it wasn't a great game. It wasn't a good game. It was a wild game. How wild? We read on. The clock may be ticking on Big Ben Roethlisberger's Hall of Fame career, along with the Pittsburgh Steelers' playoff chances this season. Pittsburgh dropped a huge, tough contest to the Vikings Thursday night that dropped the Steelers the game out of the final playoff spot in the AFC, as 8 teams are fighting for 3 little wild card spots. The Steelers attempted to erase a 29-point deficit, which would have been the largest comeback in NFL regular season history, only to fall 8 points and 12 yards short in a 36-28 defeat. A frustrated Roethlisberger showcased his emotions throughout the game in multiple situations, specifically in the first half that saw Pittsburgh trail 29-0, and the quarterback being hit several times while trying to get the offense going. Roethlisberger didn't specifically vent his frustrations at any players, yet deferred one particular incident to head coach Mike Tomlin. Steelers wide receiver Chase Claypool was benched by Tomlin for a portion of the game after an unnecessary roughness penalty in the first quarter. Claypool struck his finger in the mask of Minnesota Viking cornerback Bashad Breeland, forcing Tomlin to bench one of his top wideout as a result. Claypool's absence affected Pittsburgh's offense in the first half, but not to the extent later in the game.
The Steelers wideout made a 9-yard catch on 4th and 1 with 42 seconds left to extend the Steelers' final drive, then proceeded to celebrate with a first down celebration afterwards. With no timeouts and the clock ticking, the Steelers wasted 17 seconds between plays to spike the ball due to Claypool's celebration. Roethlisberger doesn't have time to dwell on mistakes and in-game incidences. The Steelers' season is dwindling away, and the opportunity to gain ground on the teams they are chasing leaves no margin of error. Good luck to them all. Okay, let's get you ready for NFL Week 14 injuries, and we do so like this. Do we have everyone? Okay, the Cowboys of Washington. Cowboys running back Tony Pollard with a foot problem is questionable. Meanwhile, for Washington, linebacker Jordan Kunaszczyk, a hamstring. Guard Wes Schweitzer, ankle. They're both out. Running back J.D. McKissick, concussion. Wide receiver Curtis Samuel, groin. Linebacker Jamin Davis, concussion. Safety Landon Collins, foot are questionable. Jaguars at Titans. The Jaguars offensive line Brandon Linder is back. Titans linebacker Zach Cunningham, non-injury related. Offensive line Tier Tart, ankle. Linebacker David Long, hamstring. Cornerback Jack Rabbit Jenkins, ankle. Tight end Tommy Hudson, ankle. All out. Seattle at Houston. Seahawks center and guard Kyle Fuller, calf. Tackle Brandon Shell, shoulder. Strong safety Jamal Adams, shoulder. Running back Travis Homer, calf, hamstring. They're out. Full safety would be Quandre Diggs, and he has a quandary. He's questionable with a calf injury. Texans, defensive back Terrence Brooks for a hamstring. Quarterback Deshaun Watson, non-injury related. They're both out. Wide receiver Brandon Cooks with a back problem. Defensive lineman Jonathan Grenard, foot problem. Defensive back A.J. Moore Jr., hip. Defensive back Jimmy Moreland, foot. Linebacker Kevin Pierre-Louis, hamstring and wrist are questionable. Let's continue. Raiders and Chiefs. The Raiders, defensive end Carl Nassib, knee. Linebacker Patrick Onwuzar, hamstring. Tight end Darren Walker, knee and back issues. They're out. Linebacker Denzel Perryman, ankle is doubtful. For the Chiefs, cornerback Chris Lamons, ankle is out. Cornerback Rashad Fenton, knee. Offensive lineman Lucas Niang are both questionable. Saints at the Jets. For the Saints, tackle Ryan Ramczyk, knee. Linebacker Pete Werner, elbow. Linebacker Caden Ellis, hamstring. All three of them are out. And Lil Jordan Humphrey, hamstring, is questionable. For the Jets, it sounds like a MASH unit. Cornerback Michael Carter II, concussion. Running back Tevin Coleman, concussion. Tight end Trevon Wesco, ankle. They're out. Offensive lineman Laurent Duvernay, Tardif, ankle. Defensive line John Franklin Myers, hip. Tight end Ryan Griffin, knee and ankle. Wide receiver Elijah Moore, quad. Linebacker C.J. Mosley, back. Defensive line Sheldon Rankins, knee. Linebacker Hamish Nazardine, knee, questionable. Let's move on. Falcons at the Panthers. Falcons, offensive linebacker Ade Ogundeli, Digi, ankle. Safety Richard Grant, ankle. They're questionable. Panthers, guard John Miller, ankle. Guard Michael Jordan, hamstring. They're both out. Let's go to the Ravens and Browns. Ravens, offensive line, Patrick McCarry, hand. He's out. Wide receiver Miles Boykin, finger, doubtful. Defensive back Brandon Stevens, shoulder. Cornerback Anthony Averett, knee. Defensive back and linebacker Anthony Levine Sr., knee. Cornerback Chris Westry, thigh. Tight end Nick Boyle, illness, knee. Fullback Patrick Ricard, back. They're questionable. For the Browns, tight end Harrison Bryant, ankle. Wide receiver Anthony Schwartz, concussion. Cornerback Greg Newsome III, concussion. They're out. Safety Ronnie Harrison, ankle. Defensive tackle Malik Jackson, knee. Defensive tackle Jordan Elliott, knee. He's questionable. Giants, the Chargers, Giants, defensive back Adoree Jackson, quad. Wide receiver Kadarius Toney, oblique. Quarterback Daniel Jones, neck. They're out. Quarterback Mike Glennon, concussion. Wide receiver Kenny Golladay, rib. Wide receiver Sterling Shepard, quad. Defensive lineman Danny Shelton, calf. They're questionable. Chargers. Offensive linebacker Kyler Fackrell, knee. Safety Alohi Gilman, quad. Cornerback Asante Samuel Jr., concussion. They're out. Deep kicker or defensive kicker or whatever it is, DK, Justin Jones, questionable. Lions at Broncos. Take a deep breath because this game may be postponed. I say maybe because here are the Lions, and get ready for this. Offensive linebacker Julian Okwara, ankle. Linebacker Jalen Reeves Maben, shoulder. Running back DeAndre Swift, shoulder. They're out. Tight end TJ Hawkinson, hand. He's doubtful. Defensive end Michael Brockers, knee, illness. Offensive lineman Austin Bryant, shoulder. Offensive linebacker Charles Harris, illness. Guard Jonah Jackson, illness. Nose tackle Alan McNeil, illness. Tackle Matt Nelson, illness, ankle. Defensive end Levi Onwuzurike, illness. Kicker Riley Patterson, illness. Nose tackle John Penasini, illness. Tackle Penny Sewell, shoulder, illness. Guard Halaputavari Vaitai, illness. Defensive end Nick Williams, illness. All of those that I mentioned, with the exceptions of Okara, Maben, and Swift, they're questionable. The game is also questionable. My opinion. I hope the NFL realizes why. Because right now, most of the people I just mentioned, they got the flu. Safety Tracy Walker and running back Jamal Williams have been placed on the reserve COVID-19 list. For the Broncos, offensive linebacker Bradley Chubb, shoulder, ankle. Defensive end Shelby Harris, ankle. Running back Melvin Gordon III, ankle. They're questionable. If the Lions win against the Broncos Sunday at 4:05 Eastern on Fox, it'll be a blessed miracle. Either way. 49ers at Bengals. For the 49ers, running back Trenton Cannon, concussion. Linebacker Dre Greenlaw, concussion. Defensive DL, defensive list. I forgot what DL means. Maurice Hurst, calf. Running back Elijah Mitchell, concussion. Knee. Cornerback Emmanuel Mosley, ankle. They're out. Wide receiver Debo Samuel, groin. Cornerback Dante Johnson, non-injury related. Bengals halfback Chris Evans, ankle. Linebacker Logan Wilson. DL is defensive line. I just figured that out. Oi. Linebacker Logan Wilson, shoulder, both out. Defensive tackle Tyler Shelvin, illness. Linebacker Marcus Bailey, neck, doubtful. Cornerback Chidobe Awizi, foot. Wide receiver T. Higgins, ankle. Running back Joe Mixon, illness, questionable. Bills at Buccaneers. Bills, defensive tackle Star Lotulile, toe. Defensive end, tight end Tommy Sweeney, hip. They're out. Fullback Reggie Gilliam, ankle. Defensive end Effie Obada, hip, questionable. Buccaneers safety Jordan Whitehead, calf, out. Center Ryan Jackson, ankle. Defensive line William Golston, wrist, knee. Cornerback Jamel Dean, concussion. Wide receiver Jalen Darden, concussion, are questionable. Bears at Packers. Linebacker for the Bears Cassius March, knee, out. Wide receiver Marquise Goodwin, foot. Quarterback Andy Dalton, left hand, doubtful. Defensive tackle Akeem Hicks, ankle. Defensive end Mario Edwards Jr., ribs. They're questionable. For the Packers, wide receiver Randall Cobb's core issue. Offensive tackle David Bakhtiari, knee. They're both out. Linebacker Devondre Campbell, illness, is questionable. Rams at Cardinals Monday. We will find that out on Sunday. And that is your injury report. Wow. Good luck. And my voice just. Okay, in college football, here we go. Duke hires Mike Elko as coach. Texas A&M defensive cornerback in ACC after stops at Wake Forest and Notre Dame. That's right. That's right. Duke football hired Texas A&M defensive coordinator Mike Elko. The 44-year-old took as their next coach. He takes over the Blue Devils after multiple years coaching at private schools and against ACC teams, including Wake Forest. We move on. More of the coaching carousel. Boink, boink, boink. Virginia has hired Clemson offensive coordinator Tony Elliott as its next football coach. The university announced on Friday Elliott replaces Bronco Mendenhall, who resigned last week after 6 seasons leading the program. The 42-year-old Elliott has been with Clemson since 2011 and won the Broyles Award in 2017 as the nation's top assistant coach. Yes, folks. We may have the end of a long soap opera. I state once again, may have. After a few weeks of silence, we finally have a new update in the Ben Simmons saga. Trade talks involving the Philadelphia 76ers All-Star guard have been gaining steam in recent days, and 3 team deals are on the table, according to Adrian Wojnarowski and Zach Lowe of ESPN. Simmons has not played for the Sixers this season after requesting a trade and initially refusing to show up for training camp. He has since reported to Philadelphia, but has told the team he does not feel mentally ready to play. The Sixers, who have been finding Simmons at various points throughout the process, have thus far refused any deals as they attempt to acquire what they feel will be a fair return. Daryl Morey, the Sixers president of basketball operations, stated publicly that he won't feel any pressure to move Simmons and is willing to wait years, if necessary, to find the right deal. However, with Joel Embiid in the middle of his prime and putting up another spectacular season, the Sixers cannot afford to waste this year, especially with the top of the Eastern Conference within reach. It's one thing to say you'll let Simmons sit out all season to try and increase your leverage. It's another to actually let it happen. Another factor that could lead to a trade in the near future is that players who sign new contracts in free agency this summer will be eligible to be traded on December 15th. That's an additional 106 players who can be included in trades, or nearly 25% of the league. Not all of them will be on the move, obviously, but it shows how much more flexibility teams will have once that date arrives. None of this guarantees that Simmons will actually be dealt, but there's a clear incentive for the Sixers to get some sort of return that would help their team, and far more trade options will become available in the coming days. Stay tuned. In college basketball, Auburn basketball coach Bruce Pearl will be suspended. Hi there. For 2 games, and the program will be placed on probation for 4 years in connection with violations committed by former assistant coaches, the NC2A announced Friday. Auburn self-imposed a postseason ban last season in advance of the NC2A ruling, and the NC2A is honoring that penalty as part of its punishment. The absence of an additional postseason ban and a relatively short suspension for Pearl is good news for Auburn, which has maintained that Pearl was not directly involved in the scandal. At the heart of the case is former Tiger assistant Chuck Pearson receiving bribes in exchange for his influence on player signings with certain financial advisors. Okay, by the way, the Army-Navy game Saturday at 3 o'clock, be on CBS, presented by USAA Insurance. For and by veterans. All right, and as we continue, one of the top basketball prospects in the class of 22 committed to Duke on Friday is 5-star small forward Mark Mitchell chose the Blue Devils over UCLA and Missouri. In a ceremony broadcast on CBS Sports HQ, the commitment of Mitchell is just the latest reminder that the program will remain a destination for top talent under future coach John Shire, following the retirement of Mike Krzyzewski after this season. With Mitchell's commitment, Duke has now four of the top 11 prospects from the class of 22 committed according to the 247 Sports rankings. The class was already ranked number 1 nationally before Mitchell's commit, and its decision gives the Blue Devils an even greater lead on this behind it. Oh, yes. Wow. I think we've exhausted my voice. Oh, no, we've got one little report to do, and that is this one. Now that LaMelo Ball and Lonzo Ball are off to promising NBA careers, we can take a much more jovial approach towards bombastic proclamations of their outspoken father, the bald-headed version of Don King, LeVar Ball. Now, while Lonzo has established himself as an integral part of one of the Eastern Conference's best teams with the Chicago Bulls, LaMelo has continued his trajectory towards NBA superstardom at this point as the point guard of the Charlotte Hornets. There are plenty of mentor figures surrounding him in Charlotte. His veteran teammate, Coach James Borrego, TV broadcaster and former NBA sharpshooter Del Curry. But the most prominent is Hornets owner Michael Jordan, widely considered to be the greatest basketball player of all time. With Jordan at his disposal, you think LaMelo would constantly be picking his brain for ways to improve his game. But according to Mr. Big Mouth, the ego that doesn't seem to shrink, that is not the case. We're talking LeVar Bell. How often does LaMelo seek out advice from Michael Jordan? Never. What advice is he going to give him? You tell me what advice he's going to give him. Do you ever have milk in your refrigerator, man? When's the damn thing expires? When the damn thing expires, I hope you throw it away. When was the last time Jordan won a championship? The game has changed. What's he going to tell him? We'll avoid the audio of this offense. The logic for LeVar does not hold up even under a modicum of scrutiny, but at this point, we all know that LeVar Ball has a penchant for making controversial and unsupportable statements. He already targeted MJ once, infamously saying that he could beat him in a game of one-on-one. And it's hard to believe that LaMelo and MJ have never had a conversation about basketball, but either way, the second-year guard is boasting phenomenal numbers. He's increased his averages across the board, putting up 20 points, 8.3 assists, and 7.7 rebounds per game, while improving his three-point shooting from 35% as a rookie to 39% this season on 2 more attempts per game. The Hornets have, however, been ravaged by COVID recently, missing 7 players, including LaMelo, for Friday night's game against the Kings. Even with the limited roster, they managed to stay above 500 and are currently in play-in position. Imagine how good they'll be when LaMelo eventually decides to ask the Great One for some advice. And I'm not talking about his father. I'm talking Michael Jordan, of course. Okay, I think we have come to that perennial fork in Yield Road where we have to get everything in a finish line. Like, for example, the Premier League, Brentford 2, Watford 1. Scottish Championship, Ayr United and Hamilton Academical tied at 1. Lowland League, Celtic B over East Stirlingshire, 1-0. Simeru Premier, Newtown 4, Aberystwyth Town 2, Irish Premiership, Ballymena United 2, Larne 1. Spanish La Liga, Mallorca 0, Celta Vigo 0. German Bundesliga, Augsburg over Köln 2-0. Italia Series A, Sampdoria 3, Genoa 1. French League, Nantes 3, Lens 2. Australian A-League, Newcastle 4, Wellington Phoenix 0. Belgium First Division, Sporting de Charleroi 1, Ostende 0. And in the Turkish Super League, Hatayspor 2, Altay 1. Okay, we got one more little seggy to do, and then our voice will take a rest. And here we go. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, and boom. And here we go. In the Euro League for basketball, CSK Moscow over Zalgiris Kaunas 73-51. Olympia Milano over Monaco 71-65. Panathinaikos over Alba Berlin 82-67. Barcelona over Real Madrid 93-80. Let's get an update on the NHL. 18 minutes in the third period. Vancouver Canucks, Winnipeg Jets tied at 3. 15 minutes in the third period. Philadelphia Flyers by 2 over the Vegas Golden Knights 4-2. In the Czech Republic, after overtime, Pardubice over Kladno 5-4. Triniak over Kesk Bujovic 3-0. Ziln over Litvinov 4-1. Kometka Brno over Karlovy Vary 3-2. In overtime, Sparta Prague over Montfield HK 4-3, and Malada Bosev over Olomouc 4-3. In Finland, Jukurit 6, Hämeenlinna 0. JYP over Kalpa 4-2, Assat over Luko 4-1, and Karpat over Vasan Sport 4-0. And in cricket, in the Ashes, Australia beat England by 9 wickets, 425 and 20 over 1 to 147 and 297. That's how they read. That's cricket for you. And of course, you can listen to cricket on the SEN radio network from Australia. You'll fall in love with it too. Anyway, that is. Oh, we almost forgot. Jacarra Lake. There we go.
Happy birthday to you, buddy. Happy birthday to you, buddy. Oh, happy birthday, dear Kiara. Oh, happy birthday. I said a happy birthday to you. Take care of business, baby.
All right, that is it. We have broke a record, folks. We made it with 2 minutes to spare. Wow. You gotta love it. 2 minutes to spare, and we are done. We are done for the evening. We will be back Saturday night, probably around midnight Eastern, when we will join you. As the rain comes down. We had fun. We had a ball. We had a blast. And boy, I tell you, we did things tonight. We broke records. And folks, we get to do this all again tomorrow at midnight Eastern, I think. Are we midnight tomorrow? No, we're 11:35 tomorrow. Thank you. 11:35 tomorrow with a good broadcast. Hopefully, we will make it through that hour that we did this hour. So have a great weekend, everybody. Have a good night on the West Coast. Have a great morning on the East Coast. We'll see you tomorrow night. And until then, I am Steve, the Baxman Baxley. Always have been, always will. Saying good night, God bless, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. This has been tomorrow night, 11:35. This has been a presentation of Mystifying Creativity Productions in association with the L2C Media Network and L2C Sports. We'll talk to you, as I said, tomorrow from the Fred McLeod Sports Desk at the Tom O'Neill Studios in Jackson. That's a wrap. Good night, everybody. Have a great tomorrow and a good weekend of sports. And may your sporty balls never be deflated. Problem is that I want to put more of this in my mouth.